Yes, children. Yeah. Now, shall I erase everything?
Yes.
Okay. I'm erasing it. Now, let's quickly see the examples of binary fission. Okay, as I said, examples are important. What are the examples? What are the organisms that reproduce through this mode? Okay, so the organisms are Leishmania. Okay, what is Leishmania? It is a protozoa. Okay, protozoan, a microorganism, a class of micro, a category of a microbe. Okay, then Leishmania is one example. Amoeba is one example. Bacteria is one example. So see, you have got so many examples in binary fission. Amoeba, Leishmania. Okay. Okay, I said Leishmania 2 times. I'm sorry. Amoeba, Leishmania, and bacteria. Okay. So basically, in amoeba and Leishmania, there is a difference in binary fission. And what's that difference? In amoeba, the splitting can happen in any plane because amoeba, it's an irregular structure. Okay, so the splitting will happen in any plane. There is no particular plane that, okay, like in this particular plane only will the amoeba will divide. No, it's not like that. The amoeba can, like the binary fission and in amoeba can happen in any of the plane on its body. Okay, through any plane it can divide. Whereas in Leishmania, it will divide in one particular axis. Okay, it will divide in particular axis only longitudinally. In amoeba, there is no particular point from like a particular point that here only the amoeba will divide. No. Okay, but in Leishmania, there is a particular point for division, right? So these are the examples. Now let's move to the next slide. This is a slide for binary fission in amoeba, very important for exam. Okay, so now the days are gone when you will be asked to, draw the diagram of binary fission in amoeba. You may ask, but now the trend has been changed. Now, you will be given a diagram maybe, and then the labelings could be missed. So you will be asked to label, right? So that is why diagrams are very important. That is why I keep on telling you to practice the diagram, because they can miss certain parts and they can frame diagram based questions. Okay, so binary fission, as you can see here, how binary fission is happening in amoeba. First of all, what is amoeba? What is amoeba? Is amoeba bacteria, fungi, protozoa, or virus? What is amoeba? Anybody? 3 students are there in my class. Please tell me.
Can you repeat?
I'm asking, what is amoeba? Is amoeba a bacteria? Is it a virus? Is it a fungi, or is it a protozoan? What is it?
Protozoa, right?
Exactly. Amoeba is a protozoa and it is usually found in where? Where they are found, amoeba?
I mean rivers and ponds.
Yeah. Okay. Ponds, basically. Found in ponds. So it is a unicellular organism or a multicellular organism?
Unicellular.
Exactly. ये तो मुझे पूछने की भी वैसे जरूरत नहीं थी, पिक्चर में ही दिख रहा है. Right? So it is an amoeba parent cell with a purple color nucleus, right? Now what happens? How binary fission is happening in amoeba? Because you know the basic steps, karyokinesis, cytokinesis, and 2 cells. Same thing will be happening here. What will be happen? What will happen when an amoeba grows fully or is matured enough? Okay, then it is going to divide. How? First, the nucleus will divide. You can see the nucleus split into two more nuclei, right? After the division of the nucleus, you can see that the cytoplasm has started to elongate. Cytoplasm is also dividing. Finally, you are getting two new cells, 1 and 2. So this is binary fission in amoeba. Very simple. Now you tell me, is there any confusion till here? Do you want me to repeat binary fission again?
Ma'am, on the previous slide, I had two questions.
1 second. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, first one was, I didn't really understand. Does plane mean like horizontal, like direction wise?
Yeah. Plane means direction wise. Like if, like, suppose this is an amoeba. Okay, so it can divide from any plane. From
Acha,
any plane,
okay.
can happen any direction. Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Also, the last line which says cell division occurs in relation to these flagella, I didn't understand that.
Oh, see, Leishmania, वैसे तो I don't think so this is there in your NCRT, but Leishmania, they have got some flagella on their surface. Flagella means a structure which help in the movement, okay, which help to provide motility. They provide motility to the organism so that the organism can move. So cell division will be happening in relation to these flagella. Okay, so depending upon that where the flagella is, right?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so basically Leishmania, they have the flagella at the end of their surface. So like from there, the division will take place.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
clear? Binary fission in amoeba is also clear.
Actually, I have a doubt. In the previous slide, there was a word that in this like in Leishmania, in the previous slide, there was a word Kala Azur. What's that? In the previous slide, I'm like,
Oh, disease. Okay, you haven't heard about Kala Azar,
no ma,
huh?
no ma.
Okay. Anybody else? Navda, Garvit.
No, no, ma'am.
Okay. And what about Garvit?
No, ma'am.
You don't know. Okay. So Kala Azar is basically, you can say it's a infection which is caused by Leishmania only. So basically there are symptoms that maybe fever, you get weight loss. Okay. So these are the symptoms of the disease. And basically, if you have heard of spleen, do you know what spleen is? Okay, spleen is basically an organ in your body which helps to provide you the immunity. Okay, which helps to provide you the immunity so that you can fight the infection. So that particular organ gets infected in this Kala Azar. That's a disease. Okay, in that this particular organ spleen gets infected. Okay, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Right? So it's Kala Azar. Like, it is also known as black fever because the skin slightly turns to, dark color. That is why. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Shall I move ahead? Shall I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now there is one more type of fission, that is multiple fission. Okay. That is multiple fission. Now again, let's go with the word and try to derive the meaning. Multiple means many. Fission means breakdown. That means in multiple fission, many daughter cells will be produced. Many daughter cells will be produced. Okay, multiple fission means many daughter cells are produced. Okay, so a single cell will divide to form many cells. So first, suppose there is one cell, it will divide to form multiple nuclei. Nuclei, why I'm using the word nuclei? Because nuclei is the plural form of the nucleus. So what will happen? Many nuclei will be formed. Okay, then what will happen? Around these nuclei, cell wall formation will start to take place. So cell wall will be formed. So now you have many daughter cells. Now you have got many daughter cells. But now one more thing, these daughter cells, they will remain in a covering called cyst. Cyst is a covering. You remember, children, the COVID era. During that time, you all were advised to stay inside your homes. Okay, I'm giving you this example just to understand what a cyst means. Okay, so you all were advised to stay at home and not go out of your houses. Why? Because the outside conditions were not favorable for you. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were not going to schools as well. Okay, because the outside conditions were not favorable. But now, today, you are going to school, right? You are going to school. Now you have started to move out from your houses. That means now you have, imagine that the house is your cyst. Imagine that house is working as a cyst for you, a covering for you. Okay, because the outside conditions have become favorable now. So that is why you have started to move out. Earlier you were inside, you were in a shell, you were in a cyst because the conditions were not favorable. So somewhat similar cases happening here also. Children, 1 second, give me a minute. Yes, children, could you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yeah, I was saying that suppose this is one parent cell, and its nucleus will be divided into many nuclei, and many nuclei, they will be surrounded by a cell wall. So a complete cell is made. Now these cells, which are large in number, they are surrounded by a cyst. Okay, cyst is made, or cyst is formed around the cells when the outside conditions are not favorable. Then what will happen when the conditions become favorable? What will happen? The cyst will break and the cells will move out. Okay, so this is multiple fission. Now what is the example of multiple fission? Example is plasmodium and amoeba. Now you may ask that, ma'am, amoeba was reproducing through binary fission mode also. Yes, it divides through binary as well as multiple fission both. In binary fission, it divides, amoeba divides, 1 second. Oh, okay. In amoeba, binary fission in amoeba, binary fission in amoeba happens when conditions are favorable. Okay, when conditions are favorable, right? But, oh, I have created a mess on the slide, right? It's okay. So, and multiple fission will happen when, multiple fission in amoeba will happen when, tell me when, now tell me, you will tell me, I will not tell.
When conditions are not favorable.
When the conditions are not favorable, so what it will do, it is going, in multiple fission we know that many daughter cells are produced, so many daughter cells will be produced. Why many daughter cells are produced? To increase the chance of survival. right? So many cells are produced because the outside condition is not favorable, right? So it is actually increasing the chance of survival of the daughter cells. That is why daughter cells are produced in large numbers. Okay, so write down this. You should know this. Binary fission in amoeba happens when the conditions are favorable, and multiple fission happens in amoeba when conditions are not favorable. So it is actually going to increase the chance of survival of the daughter cells, right? Let me know when to move on to the next slide. So till now, what all we have covered, we have talked about what is reproduction, why reproduction is important, what are the two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual with the examples, then what are variations and why variations are important. Then we talked about binary fission with its example, and then we have talked about multiple fission with example. Till here is everything clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so shall I proceed to the next slide, everybody? Garvit,
Ma'am, just when till when does this class go on?
what beta?
Till when will this class go on?
Yeah, it. I will end it at 8:25.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am, you can move on.
What beta?
Ma'am, you can move.
Okay, fine. So now let's move to the next mode of reproduction. We are done with the first mode of asexual reproduction. Now let us move to the second mode of asexual reproduction, and that is what? That is, oh, yeah, one more thing. See this reproduction by multiple fission, a diagrammatic representation. The same thing which I told you. There is a cell. Okay, the nucleus divides in the cyst only, and then when the conditions are favorable, the cyst will break and the daughter cells will come out and will be grown into new individuals. Okay, so it's a small diagrammatic representation. If you want to draw it, you can draw it quickly, rough, like rough diagram. That's it. I'm giving you 1 minute to draw it.
Ma'am, is this cyst present from before itself?
What beta?
The cyst, is it present from before itself because it's there in the first diagram?
First cell.
Yeah, in the first cell it's there.
Yeah, because maybe depending upon the conditions, how the conditions are. Okay, it might develop later also.
Okay.
Depends upon the outside environment conditions.
Only during the phase of reproduction the cyst develops.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Shall I start with the second mode of reproduction? Budding. Suppose we don't know what is the meaning of budding. We don't know what will happen in budding. Okay. So again, we will go with the word and tell the meaning. So budding, budding, budding word is coming from bud. Okay. And children, I want you see, whenever I'm reading the name, I'm splitting the word into two half and I'm writing the meaning also. So I want you to write this also. Okay, because it will help you to recall it very quickly. So bud means what? Bud means outgrowth. Outgrowth. Okay. So now let's see what happens in this mode of asexual reproduction, that is budding. Okay. So we'll take an example to study this. Okay. So this is budding in hydra. budding in hydra. What is hydra? Hydra is an aquatic plant. Aquatic plant, and it is multicellular. It is multicellular. Okay. Now what is happening in budding? So see the steps, okay? See the steps. So this is how a hydra looks like. It has got some, you can see some hair-like structures on the top of the surface. Can you see the hair-like structures? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
These are called tentacles. What do we call them as? Tentacles. Okay, so these are hair-like structures which are present on the top of the hydra. They are present, why? They are present to trap the prey. Okay, these hair-like structures will trap the prey. Okay, so, and can you see a small outgrowth on the surface of hydra? This is an outgrowth. Outgrowth. Okay, just a second, children. Yes. So can you see this outgrowth on the surface of the hydra? Here is an outgrowth. So now you can see in the second step that this outgrowth is growing and has developed tentacles also. Okay. So basically, it is the parent body. It is the parent body. And onto the parent body, the new hydra is growing. It started as a bud. Slowly and gradually, it increased in size and started to look exactly like a parent hydra. So you see the third step, it got elongated. The nucleus divided. Cell wall formation must have taken place. Okay, so now it has grown in size, it has elongated. And finally, if you see the fourth step, in the fourth step, the hydra which has been grown fully gets detached from the parent body. Okay, it will detach from the parent body once fully formed, and then it will land on a substratum or a base to grow completely. I repeat, hydra, it has got an outgrowth which is known as bud. It will keep on increasing in size slowly and gradually, and once it is grown fully, like it has developed the structures same as the parent hydra, then it will detach from the parent hydra. Then it will be, it like see this, it has a substratum green in color, na substratum base. Similarly, this new hydra will also be grown on a substratum and it will continue its growth. So it has grown into a new individual. So this is budding in hydra. Same is budding in yeast. What is yeast? Have you heard of yeast, children? Yeast is a unicellular organism that is made up of one cell. Okay? You eat breads, right? Do you eat breads? Do you eat
Yes, ma'am.
bakery products? So they all are made up of yeast. Okay, that is why yeast is also known as, it's not there in your NCRT. It's an additional knowledge for you. It is also known as baker's yeast. Baker's yeast. Why? Because it is very well used in the bakery to make bakery products. If you opt for bio, then you will be studying in detail in class 12th about it. Till now, till like for now, you just understand that yeast is also known as baker's yeast. It is a microorganism only, obviously. It is a unicellular organism and it helps in the production of bakery products. Okay. So Now the yeast, how do they reproduce? They also reproduce through budding. How? If you see a yeast, normal yeast, it will develop a bud or an outgrowth. That outgrowth will continue to grow, and when it has the structure same as the parent yeast, it will detach from the parent body and will grow into a new yeast or continue its development as a new yeast. Okay, is it getting complex or is it easy? It's easy, right? Or are you finding
Yes.
it complex?
No, not really.
Not yet. What about other two kids, Garvit and Sohani?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, what?
I'm asking, are you finding it complex to understand or is
No,
it
ma'am.
okay? Fine. So I hope this second mode of asexual reproduction is also clear to everybody, budding in Hydra and budding in East. Okay? Shall I move to the next slide?
Can you give 1 minute?
Yeah. Let me know when to move on to the next slide. Don't write the complete sentences, just write the pointers.
Ma'am, here, what does the formation of a wall mean?
Formation of cell wall. Remember, I told you
Of cell
in
wall.
every cell division, first the nucleus divides and then the cytoplasm divides, and then what happens around each cytoplasm and nucleus that has divided, a cell wall gets formed. So then we say, okay, that it's a complete cell now.
Okay, okay. So sorry.
Done, children? Shall I move?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, children. Garvit, Sohani, Navda, written.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Now I will be covering only this last mode of asexual reproduction for today's class. Okay. And we'll see if we have time, I can cover one more. Okay. So the next mode of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Again, suppose we don't know what is the meaning of this mode, what will happen in this mode, we don't know. Okay. So what we will do, we will break the word into half and try to derive the meaning. So fragmentation word is coming from fragment, right? What do you mean by a fragment? Anybody? What do you mean by a fragment?
Ma'am, say, small parts.
Exactly. Small part or pieces. Right. For example, if I give you one example, I don't have a. Let me see. 1 second, huh? Suppose I have this paper. See, okay, one single paper. If I cut it, cut it, cut it, then I will get many pieces of this paper. So what I will call, these are the fragments of that paper. Okay, fine. So this is fragmentation. What happens in fragmentation? Let's take an example. For example, let the picture that you are seeing on the slide, is a picture of an algae. And the name of that algae is Spirogyra. Okay. Do you know what is algae? What is algae?
Ma'am, algae is the kind of fungi which is like floating around in rivers.
It's not a fungi. Fungi is different thing. Algae is
Okay,
different
it's
thing.
kind of like green substance which floats around in rivers and all.
Yes. Okay. Tell me one thing. Does algae perform photosynthesis?
Ma'am, I don't have an idea about that.
Actually, many of the students they don't know this, and that's fine. But you should know that algae they can perform photosynthesis. 50% of carbon dioxide in the environment is fixed by algae only. Okay, so yes, they can do photosynthesis, right? Just give me a minute. Okay, 1 second. Yes, children. So, what I told you about algae, yes, they can do photosynthesis, and 50% of CO2 is getting fixed by algae only. Okay. So, apart from plants, algae can also perform photosynthesis. You must have seen pond water on the surface of the ponds. You must have seen like it looks like a green carpet that is spread over the surface of pond. Have you seen it? Green carpet.
Yes.
That's algae. That's algae. Okay. So we are talking about fragmentation in algae. So the same thing, what will happen in algae, how they reproduce? They reproduce through fragmentation. They are multicellular. Okay, they are multicellular in nature. So what happens? Once the algae matures once they mature, what will happen? They will divide into fragment. So see the parent algae, parent Spirogyra, it is dividing into fragments, and then you can see that each fragment is growing into a new individual. This is fragmentation. So once algae matures, the parent algae will be divided into the fragments, and then each fragment is capable of giving rise to a new individual. That's it. This is asexual reproduction of fragmentation in Spirogyra. Okay, quickly write down the running points and let me know when you are done. Okay.
Ma'am, does fragmentation occur only in multicellular organisms?
Yeah.
Does fragmentation occur only in multicellular
Yes.
organisms?
Yes. 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 Yes.
It isn't algae like unicellular?
Huh?
Can be, but algae can be unicellular also, right?
What?
Algae can be unicellular also, right?
Algae can be unicellular also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be unicellular. So we are talking about a specific type of algae here, right? Spirogyra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is a multicellular.
Mm.
Yes, children, done?
Yes, ma'am. I took the screenshot of the last slide.
Oh, okay, you took the screenshot. By mistake, like the screen got stopped. So have you all done or you were doing it?
I'm done.
Done, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about Sohani?
Mom, done.
Okay, fine. So, okay, so for today, I am keeping it till here only. Okay.